Hello, 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 hello. Oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Hello, 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 hello. Oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Okay, so if anything happens with my sound while I am doing this live stream, Richard, call me on my cell phone and let me know. I'm going to share this live stream out again. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that I just went through that. So let me give it a minute for people to get in here that were on my video. I have not had that happen before, so that was very strange. I checked my settings and there was nothing wrong. So there should have been no reason for that video to have no sound on it. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry, you guys. I am so sorry. So anyways, let's start the video now. And let me go over here real quick so I can share this to worldwide group. So if anybody was waiting to see this, then they know where it's located. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that that happened. I am so sorry, you guys. All right. So anyways, today, for the last 2 days, I apologize. I have not been here. I have not been feeling well. And as you can tell, I have a chest cold going on. So I have not been feeling great. So I apologize. Usually Friday I do a video, and then on the weekends I do a video if I feel like doing one. However, the last 2 days I just haven't felt the best. And so I spent my time relaxing and laying back and just enjoying my bed and trying to feel better. I felt dizzy. I don't know why. But anyways, I'm here today and I'm going to do this update. We're going to try to do it better than I was going to do the video to begin with. So let's take our time and do this one. All right. So anyways, you guys, here I go. All right. Today and yesterday, we're going back to the 17th. These are the big earthquakes that occurred, okay? So I think it would be important that we're going to look at these on Google Earth. I have already put these into Google Earth so we can observe them on Google Earth. And as you can see, we're going to start out with some aftershocks for Alaska from the 7.3. These are the ones directly after the aftershocks for the 7.3, and I'll show you that to be true here. So I've already put those into Google Earth. Let's go backwards, and you can see here's the 7.3, and then that was the 5.4 and the 5.2, 5.3, 5.3. These are all aftershocks from the 7.3. So we're going to go over here. We'll get these open, and we'll go over these earthquakes. So we're looking at the aftershocks for Alaska, and this was one of them. You can see these earthquakes occurred over here in this region. There were 3 here from the 17th till today. Those are just the bigger ones. Those are not the smaller earthquakes. Okay, guys, please remember to hit that like button and share out to other people. All right, so this one was 41 kilometers in depth. There was a 5.3, which was 30 kilometers in depth. Then you have a 5.6, Alaska Peninsula, and it was 40 kilometers in depth. So those are the first 3. Then we have a 5.1, South of Tonga, 10 kilometers in depth. We can see that this is a subduction zone right here. This subduction zone is subducting at 70 millimeters per year. And this is the Pacific Australian convergent boundary. Now, Richard, please remember to call me if my sound does cut out at all. This is a brand new microphone, so I should not have had any issues with it. And I have deleted the last video. I never had that happen. All right. So we can see this is our 5.0. or 5.1, and then the 5.0 occurred right after it. So that's the 5.1 and the 5.0 near the subduction zone. This area here will probably lead to more earthquakes coming down through this way. Then we had a 5.7 Sumba region, Indonesia. These ones are for the 17th, since I missed the 17th. This here is a plate boundary, and it moves at 73 millimeters per year. This plate is the Australian Sunda convergent boundary. Our next earthquake was a 5.0 Fiji region. This one here was 630 kilometers deep. Okay, so we can expect that that's going to start us off with some more earthquakes that drop off around the plate here. As you can see, we already have 2 going that way. But we can see that this is also inside the plate boundary here. So we have the East Law Spreading Rift divergent boundary here. And we have an oceanic transform fault there. We have a divergent boundary here. And we have the Pacific Australian convergent boundary here. We also have a volcano over here. And then Nebuchadnezzar lava dome. Next earthquake was a 5.3 southern Sumatra, Indonesia. You can see this one is hitting within, but if we close this out and look, we can see we have volcanoes over here, so this could be volcanic because it is further away from the plate. This plate moves at 56 millimeters per year, and this is the Australian Sunda convergent boundary. The next earthquake was a 5.1 Antofagasta, Chile. This earthquake was 84 kilometers deep. You can see it's not all the way over here, but over here in a nice normal region. All right, so as we look over here, we can see that we have the South American Nazca convergent boundary. However, we also see that we have a line of volcanoes over here, so this one is neither volcanic nor is it Pacific movement here. We're looking at just an earthquake. But this could be volcanic because this area looks volcanic. So, not going to say that it's volcanic or plate movement. It is just an earthquake. Now we move on to yesterday. There was a 5.1 on the Carlsberg Ridge. And we can see this is the Carlsberg Ridge down here. And after this one, we've had an earthquake up here as well in the Owen fracture zone. This one here was 18 kilometers deep for a 5.1. Next earthquake was a 5.1 offshore Guatemala. This one here sits next to a continental rift boundary and next to the North American Cocos Plate convergent boundary. So this is plate movement. This area moves at 78 millimeters per year. Broke fishing, you can call me too if the sound cuts out. I give anybody permission to call me to let me know that the sound is out, okay? We're not doing sound out again. And note, if I say that, it'll probably happen, so I got to be careful here. All right, so that one is 10 kilometers deep. Our next earthquake was a 5.4, Myanmar. This one here was 10 kilometers deep. We can see that this is sitting exactly on, if I get this to pull up, the Saging Fault. It's a transform boundary as well. Didn't see anything else over here, so this is fault movement. But I'm pretty sure this was felt. Looks like there is a town here. The next earthquake was a 5.1 in Vanuatu. All the way up here. This one is near Yasser and Trader's Head volcanoes. Kind of sitting out here towards the middle. Triangling both of them. I would not be surprised if this little island was volcanic as well. And then we also have this being the Pacific Australian Convergent Boundary. The next earthquake was a 5.1 Owen fracture zone region. It is 8 kilometers deep, and this is the one that is up from our other earthquake down here, which was a 5.1 on the Carlsberg Ridge. Note that this area here moves north and south. This side moves 22 millimeters per year to the south, I would say southwest, and this one moves 22 millimeters per year to the southeast. So can you imagine the friction going on here? The next earthquake was a 5.3 southeast of Loyalty Islands. And we can see that this one is happening near subduction zone as well as the Pacific Australian Convergent Boundary. When we're looking up here, we can see that this is the North Fiji Basin Spreading Rift Divergent Boundary. We also have the Gemini Oscar Star Vanuatu Volcanic Arc Stratovolcano. This one is a submarine volcano. This area here is a convergent boundary, but it moves at 76 millimeters per year to the east. Yeah. Next earthquake was a 5.2. Eastern New Guinea region, Papua New Guinea. Please don't call me and tell. Okay, I get it. That's a joke. All right. Then this earthquake is a 5.2, 188 kilometers in depth, hitting a volcano area. This is Long Island. It is a complex volcano. So let's see, get a closer look here. You can see there's the top right there. So looks like it's formed in a lake. Let's see. The broad profile, a hexagonal shaped Long Island is dominated by two steep-sided stratovolcanoes, Mount Rainier in the north and Sarasee Peak in the south. Collapse of the basaltic andesitic volcanic complex produced a large 10 by 12.5 kilometer caldera, now filled with Lake Wisdom. So yes, it is Wisdom Lake, and this is the top of that volcano. Very interesting.
Do you want that toy? You want that toy?
Okay, now we start on our earthquakes for today. There was a 5.3, Bubuyan Island region, Philippines. This earthquake was 35 kilometers deep. You can see that this is the Philippine Sunda convergent boundary, and it also has a convergence going towards the west. However, I don't see my arrow to be able to tell you how many millimeters per year, but I can tell you that this side here is 12 millimeters per year, so more than likely, whoops, there's one there, 77 millimeters per year. Oh, that says 94, so one says 77, one says 94. So I'm going to say 94, and then this area is 77. All right. So I'm going to move on to the 5.1 Kermadec Island region, 10 kilometers deep. So this is on our outside zone here. And as I look at this, and something I used to think when I was looking at earthquakes over in this region, we have one on the outside, but we also have a whole bunch of underwater seamounts. And if you follow these underwater seamounts, they come all the way over here to the Hollister Ridge. Then you take that Hollister Ridge, you follow it down. Usually we see earthquakes out in this area. Then we see them over in here. And guess where they end up at? All the way over here near Argentina and South America. So we have earthquakes that send and earthquakes that come over from that area. That's my opinion. Next earthquake is a 5.1 South Sandwich Islands region. All the way out of here, we have one near Proctor Seamount. Proctor Seamount is a volcanic field. protector seamount. Why did I say Proctor? Protector. Ha! Because I was looking at it that way. Duh! Alrighty then. That's near also in between Zabudowski. Alright. And this area here is the South American Scotia convergent boundary. This area here is a convergent, so we can see that we subduct at 8 millimeters per year. The next earthquake was a 5.2, Sulawesi, Indonesia. This earthquake was 10 kilometers deep. And this is kind of in the middle of the plate here. If we're looking, we see this is the Montano Fault over here. And we see that there's a continental transform fault there. Move all the way up here. And I am not clicking on it. This is a convergent boundary. So kind of within the middle, it's if you put your hand on this side and hand on this side and break it in half. There you go. You have a 5.2 in the middle. All right. Next earthquake was a 5.0, Babuyan Island region, Philippines. And this is back at the other same area as the first earthquake that I showed you just a few minutes ago, which was a 5.3. The next earthquake is a 5.1, Northeast Pacific Rise, Northern East Pacific Rise. And we've had two earthquakes here. One was a 5.5, and this one, both were, I believe, 10 kilometers deep. Yep, the other one is a 5.5. This here is the Oceanic Transform Fault. This here is the Pacific Cocos divergent boundary. Then we have the Northern EPR up here. This is a fissure vent. And this one here is also a fissure vent. The last earthquake is a 5.5, Philippine Island region. This one was 15 kilometers in depth. So, the other day I was in a chat room, and I want to show y'all something, because somebody had stated that they thought that there had been earthquakes in North Carolina. So it sent me into looking them up. Guess what? There had been. But I had only seen one earthquake in the last week in North Carolina. Upon looking at this site, I found out that there had been 3 within a few days. So I'm going to show y'all this site, and then we're going to check out Canada's earthquakes. So, because I forget that this site exists sometimes. Now, I know a lot of people get mad with USGS, but guess what? They have an informations by region site. Let me see if I can fix this real quick. They have an informations by region site where you can look up earthquakes which have occurred all over the United States. They don't tend to do other countries. However, they do list Guam, Northern Marianas, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. So let's say I want to look at, and I know that that most all of these have had earthquakes. Let's look at Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands just to see what their activity for today would be. So guess what? Their latest earthquake for today was a 2.9. They've also had a 3.7. So let's see. They had a 3.7 here and a 2.9 over here. I'm going to give y'all a link to this while I have this up. And if y'all ever want to look up earthquakes for your own state, if you think that there may have been an earthquake and you don't see it posted, this one here tends to show earthquakes that are lower than a 2. So, anyways, I'll show you what I saw for North Carolina. So let's do it this way. Scroll in on North Carolina here. And you got to wait for it to load. So it's loading. There you go. All right. So the last earthquakes were the 14th, the 12th, the 12th, the 12th, the 10th, and the 5th for this month. So it was a 2 point, and we can look at them by the thing. South Carolina had a 2.5. Tennessee had a 2.6. North Carolina had a 2.2. North Carolina had a 2.2. North Carolina had a 1.9. And then Tennessee had a 2.2. So that's how I was able to tell where these earthquakes occurred. They were over in this region. If you see them here as they click blue, you can see where these earthquakes have occurred. However, guess what? I only saw one 2.2 listed on EMSC. So I was actually a little bit shocked by that, because these other earthquakes, the 2.2 and 1.9, never posted to EMSC. In fact, I don't even recall seeing them on USGS, even though this is a USGS site. I don't recall seeing them on the earthquakes that were posted. So anyways, thought that would be interesting. I hope y'all enjoy that site, because that'll give you more information for the states that you're in. Anybody want to take a look at me to take a look while I am on here at a state that you are in? Feel free to let me know in the chat. I'll give it a second since it is a little bit behind. Going once, going twice, going thrice. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, y'all have the link if you want to look it up. All right, so now we are going to look at earthquakes in Canada. But first, I want to look at... You can't find your state, Richard? Yes, of course you can't, because you're in Canada. All right, so here we are with Canada. First off, I did look at... I did look here today. Saw that this one occurred today. It was a 3.1 off of Tofino, Canada. It looks like it's off of the United States here, 260 kilometers southwest of Tofino, Canada. So this is the Cascadia Basin over here. And we can see that there was one here. This one here was today as well. It was a 3.4, 33 kilometers west of Okanagan Falls, Canada. So these are the earthquakes I found for this side. And when I'm looking at the East Coast, of course, I am seeing nada. So that's why that USGS site helps out some with being able to look and see what's really going on. I'm noticing a lot of things are not being posted. I guess they just don't want us to have the information. All right. So let's go over here and look and see what has occurred today. As you can see, today is the 19th, and there was a 3.7, 13 kilometers north of Headley, British Columbia. It was felt. Let's go take a look on Google Earth. I believe this is the one that was up top that we were looking at. And it is. And it is. And let's see here. Is there fracking in this area? There's lots of... Well, maybe it's wooding roads. Maybe they're cutting down trees. Because there's a lot of roads up in here. I think they're cutting down trees up in this area. Brenton Mountain Protected Area. But it looks like trees are getting cut down. There's a lot of roads there. Okay, so this channel does check out Canadian earthquakes. So let's see here what else we had. A few days ago, there was a 2.1 on the 18th, yesterday. Suspected industry-related event, 24 kilometers northwest of Dawson Creek, British Columbia. Curiosity about this one. Let's go see what this industry-related event was. Okay, that looks like a field. What happened in the field? There's an RV park over here. Matthews Park is over here. Where's the industry? Well, maybe this is it. But, okay. Alrighty then. Not even sure what to make of this one. Unless these are frac pads. Yep. Okay, so, yep. Industry-related event. However, they probably forgot to put the pen on the right little pad. Because I don't see a pad here. This little earthquake is too far away from the pad. That's a house. No, is that a house? I don't know what that is. Maybe those are silos. Okay. Yeah, trees. Trees. Who's spamming in the chat? I don't like spam. Yuck. I tried turkey spam and it still didn't taste good. Alright, so anyways, as for yesterday, there was a 2.1. That was a 2.1 industry-related event, 24 kilometers northwest of Dawson Creek, British Columbia. Then there was a 0.74 kilometers west-northwest of South Stormont, Ontario. I believe I'm correct on that one. A 2.9, 48 kilometers east-southeast of Carmacks, Yukon Territory. A 2.1, 133 kilometers southwest of Whitehorse, Yukon Territory. And a 3.7 today, 13 kilometers north of Headley, British Columbia. And it's as it was felt. So, those are the earthquakes for today and yesterday. And this is, of course, is one of them right here, which was a 3.7. All right, so let's check out weather real quick. We can tell poor Emergency Management Associates right now is having a thunderstorm. Yeah, let's see what's going on here. He's got a thunderstorm going on. So, he's over here somewhere. Not going to tell you exactly where. Just got his address from his channel. But you can see nice storms coming across here. I'm over here, and the most that we've had all day long, it says we're going to have rain in 3 hours. The most we've had all day long is just very stormy looking skies, but no rain today. It was threatening us yesterday with 1 inch of rain today, but I haven't seen any rain at all yet. So let's take a look at the forecast for weather.gov, because there is a new system that is out in the Atlantic. However, I don't think that this one is going to be much to worry about. I believe it's going to come up here and that it'll probably hit land and hopefully get torn apart. So this one here has a 20% chance of becoming anything and a 10% chance over the next 48 hours. But we'll take a look at Wendy and we'll let you decide. So as we look over here, we can see that we have tropical system coming through this way. And let's come over here. So it is back here. We're watching here as this moves this area. Now I'm not going to do too much to futurecast because of the fact that anything can change. So within a few days, systems can change and then they do something different. So a lot of times I like to futurecast them when they are closer to land. But this one is out there. And I believe that it's going to get torn up before it ever hits land. And that is Wednesday, the 24th, so nothing to see now. That is be future casting. Alright, you guys, I hope y'all enjoyed the live stream. If you did, please give me a big like. Consider subscribing. That helps my channel out. And share the video. I am sorry again that I was not here the last 2 days. I have not been feeling the greatest, and I spent yesterday sleeping. Then I get on today to do a premiere video, and guess what? No sound. Oh my goodness. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed the live. Please remember to tell someone that you love them. Tomorrow is never promised, and make each day an adventure. Broke Fishing, thank you for being here. Richard, thank you for being here. Thank you for modding. Thank you to my moderators for keeping my chat room clean. Juby Joe, thank you for being here. Juby Joe, you said you can't spell my granddaughter's name. It's Skyler. To everybody else who was here today, who checked out the channel, hung out with us, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here live on my channel. Anyways, you guys, I don't know whether I will be live or do a video tomorrow, but I will definitely be back on Monday. Anyways, you guys, as I said, I wasn't feeling well the last 2 days, but I am starting to feel better. I do have a chest cold, so I hope that I don't sound too down. Anyways, guys, I love you, and I'll see you on Monday. Much love.